Hey folks, after weeks travelling around the Scottish Highlands with the Mini 3 Pro, I found myself falling into a bit of a pattern with my shot types. A good pattern, I should say. Years of experience distilled down into a handful of shots that I knew to apply in any given situation. I want to pass on to you 10 of these shots. It's not a definitive list, but it's a great starting point to help you build that intuition, so given any set of circumstances, you can get great results anytime with any drone. Let's kick off with one of the easiest and one of the best, the tilt up or tilt down reveal. Now I'm sure lots of you have seen a tilt up reveal. We have the gimbal pointing the camera all the way down and then we tilt up into the maneuver to reveal our location. But thanks to the upward range of motion that we now get with the Mini 3 Pro, we can really successfully do some tilt down reveals. In the case of these landscape shots, I'm flying manually, sliding into the left or right with the right stick and then inputting the opposing yawing motion to keep your subject centered in the frame. Now, much as these are really nice shots, you can take your work to the next level by using that rotational movement to introduce new parts of your composition. This helps you tell a story with your shot beyond just presenting what is in front of the camera. So in this instance, for example, you see me walking, but where am I walking to? The rotational movement to the left introduces this ruin that I am walking to and the beach that I will walk across to access that ruin. Here I'm standing looking at something. We have a rotational movement round to the left. There's the beach that I'm looking at. The rotation served some kind of purpose to introduce a new element in that frame. This one is done with a point of interest using the focus track mode on the Mini 3 Pro. Now, it was no accident that I wasn't in that shot to begin with. So first of all, we were looking at the landscape, then I come into the frame. Now we're rotating around to reveal more of the frame. I'm passing out of the frame now. Our eye transitions back to the landscape. Our eye's been all over that frame and you've been drawn into the scene. What are we looking at here? Just a shot of some waves and the beach? Well, it's nice, but it could be more interesting. Oh, actually, it is quite interesting. Who's that has just come into the frame? We had a multifaceted shot there where we were drawn through the frame. Our eye was darting about looking at different elements in the composition. Similar story here. This is very nice. This is very scenic, but is there more to it? Well, in I come. Oh, there's a guy standing there. That's interesting. And let me tell you, this rock that I'm about to fly over, that was maybe a little bit close for comfort. So keep an eye on where the drone is going. Now, having said that, one of the best things about the undertake is you can really time it with yourself. So that looks like I nearly hit myself with the drone, but I didn't. I was actually static until the very last minute the drone passes me. I then start walking, and it looks like a really dangerous precision maneuver, but it really wasn't. The huge pull away, as we've called it here, is a great way of surprising your audience with the location. So in this instance, you look at me walking along some grass. I mean, it looks nice, but the further we get away, we realize, wow, this is really quite a spectacular location. Look at the isolation. Here I'm just walking along some rocks. That's okay, but actually, oh my goodness, out we go. That's quite a dramatic place to be having a walk. Same story here. A little bit like an undertake here, but we turn it into the huge pull away. If you like, back we go. We keep going back. You're like, oh my goodness, this is a tremendous location. Now in this instance, I'm able to look at the drone from start to finish. I have line of sight. I know that it's not going to crash into anything, and you create this really dramatic effect. Tracking shots are super easily achieved with focus track, and normally it does a great job of locking onto the subject and, just in the case of me, following me along as I walk in any given direction. It's beautifully simple and takes advantage of the automated flight modes in these drones. It looks like you have a camera operator on your behalf, but of course you don't. You're just following yourself with the intelligent flight mode focus track. It works really well with cars as well, and in these shots I was able to put some real distance between the car and the drone, so the tracking worked really well here on the Mini 3 Pro. Don't forget to point that gimbal all the way down and take advantage of the bird's eye perspective. Seeing the world from the sky never fails to give me a buzz, I have to say. This beach looks absolutely beautiful. Here we are flying in, revealing more of the location as well. So we're trying to give some kind of purpose to this shot. The rocket shot or the droney, whatever you want to call it. It's like a huge pull away shot, but you're going all the way up in the air instead of flying backwards, so the impact is the same. We're revealing more of the location. Assuming that location looks good, we're surprised and we're happy to see it. It's really cool. Look at this shot. You're looking at me right now, okay, but now you're not really. Your eye is then drawn to the landscape, so our eye's been forced to look around that frame, again keeping the viewer engaged. Same story with this one. Now in this one it's just me looking up at the camera. Fine, it's maybe not the most interesting in the world, but it could be a car, it could be a building, it could be another person. Much as the rocketing droney shot is cool, this is a better version of it, the spotlight crane. In this instance we use focus track to track the subject in spotlight mode, then we fly up manually. The camera automatically tilts down to retain its lock on the subject. So we have this gimbal tilt and it creates this perspective shift, and in the instance of this example where I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, we get quite a sense of motion there. I really like it. This shot really comes into its own if you reverse it. Wow, look where I am sitting. Down we go. We have this automated gimbal tilt up because the gimbal is locked onto me. That would have been a very difficult shot to fly manually. It doesn't get much easier than just leaving the drone to hover and then bringing your subject into the frame. Why not just use your drone like a massive tripod? It is, after all, a flying camera. And with that functionality, you can position that camera in places you wouldn't otherwise reach with traditional means. So this is a bird's eye shot for sure, but I'm not even flying the drone here. It's just hovering and I come into the frame just to add some kind of interest and some kind of purpose to the shot. Same story here, not even flying the drone, it's just hovering itself through I pass. There's a 2x digital zoom option in the Mini 3 Pro and all the other DJI drones for that matter. I definitely recommend you try it. One use of that is to get closer to subjects. That's helpful, it's cool, but the real magic of this is being able to enhance the sense of parallax when you rotate around subjects. We get this extra little bit of lens compression that pulls all the layers of the frame in closer and it increases the sense of motion when you move. Even just flying up here, look at the layers change. Something looks different. Now the reason it looks different is we're shooting on the equivalent of about 48mm. It gives a completely different focal length and a completely different feel when you punch in 2x. Like I say, this is not the definitive list of drone shots, but it's a list that gets us great results every time. Underpinning all of those shots is our 5-step foundation for great aerial cinematography. You can learn about that in our free ebook From Drone Zero to Drone Hero, 37 tips to get you flying like a filmmaker. And if you really want to get into this stuff, we have an incredible 9-hour drone cinematography masterclass. We're now on version 3, it's been fully updated. Again, it's a spectacular piece of work, tremendous heritage, a lot of people saying a lot of good things about it, so do check out the links in the description to all of that stuff to be the best aerial filmmaker you can possibly be. Pleasure talking to you as always, and we will see you next time.